This is a recent podcast Logan Paul had with Cliffe and his son, and he's asking for proof of God and the evidence for the resurrection of Jesus Christ, which is a perfectly reasonable question to ask. No one should believe in things without evidence. If you blindly believe in things without evidence to back it up, then I think something is wrong with you. But let's hear Cliffe respond. I think he gave a good answer. Take a look.
That's what I am looking for, and what I have always struggled with is like the proof. Per se, like I haven't really had like a come to Jesus moment that I know some people have had. I haven't had and have abided by the guidance of the Bible to lead me to like a happy, successful place in my life. I just try to be a good person. I try to work hard and I try to love the people around me as much as I can. And by the way, I fuck up a lot, but I guess like I started by saying I'm just like unwilling to subscribe to a religion, because then I guess this leads into this conversation. Why Christianity? There's so many denominations out there, and to be able to like put your foot down on one, especially when they all have such positive teachings for the most part, it's just so hard for me. I just don't know if I'm willing to make that assertion just yet. So why Christianity is the question.
All right. First of all, you're right. I can't prove God. But Logan, I think you've got God bearing down hard on you through your mom. I think it's real clear that your mom loves you.
Is that true, Mom? She holding the cross. Can you at least get a thumbs up or something?
She just holds up
the cross.
She's like, can't discuss the love of Logan.
But here's a cross.
I do love Jesus.
I don't think that your mom's love for you is simply a chemical reaction. I think your mom has made a decision over your entire life to care for you, to provide for you, to protect you, to sacrifice for you. That is far beyond an animal instinct. That is a free decision your precious mother has made to really love you, to really care for you. Love, the experience of love, points us to reality, including some type of God. Okay, then the next question is, but who is this God? And that's where Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Confucius, Buddhists, all the avatars of Hinduism come in, all claiming to be revealing God accurately. But the historical evidence is Jesus lived a sinless life. He never sinned once. In John chapter 8, he could look into the faces of his enemies and say, which one of you can prove me guilty of sin? And his enemies were silent. Secondly, he taught amazing ethical teachings that I think all of us respect highly. The Sermon on the Mount is obviously ethical genius. All right, profound ethical genius. The Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapters 5, 6, and 7. So his lifestyle, his ethical teachings demand respect. Thirdly, you watch him die. At the moment of his most excruciating pain and agony, nailed to a wooden crossbeam, instead of cursing his enemies the way I would have, he prays, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Well, my respect for him skyrockets. But fourthly, and most importantly, 3 days after he dies, he physically, bodily rises from the dead, and over a period of 40 days, he appears to over 500 people who see him, different times, different places, risen from the dead. Paul records in 1 Corinthians 15.
I have a question. How do you know that?
You know that in the same way that you know that George Washington was the first president of the United States, that you know that Adolf Hitler really committed the atrocities he did. It's called historical knowledge.
But those recent events those events you just cited happened much more recently.
Yes.
And are much more well documented.
Yes.
Than potentially 2,000 years of lost history.
Bingo, correct. But the great news is, in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, we have a very, very reliable historical record based on over 5,800 Greek manuscripts, 10,000 manuscripts in the Latin Vulgate, and about 9,800 in Ethiopic, Coptic, Armenian, Syriac, Gothic, and Slavic.
Basically, like they were almost approved and given credibility to in the short term thereafter, and that added a more extensive proof to the story back.
Essentially, they were like corroborated.
Yeah, that's
evidence.
That's kind of what I want to ask a quick question about that. And you brought up George Washington and the atrocities of World War II.
One other evidence Cliffe did not mention in the podcast is Jesus' disciple willingness to die, not for a belief, because people will give up their life for a belief thinking is true. But people will not be willing to die for something they know is a lie. People don't do that. Jesus' disciples were willing to die for what they claim to have seen, which is the resurrected Christ. We have plenty of other evidence for the historical Jesus and the resurrection, but we'll leave that up for another day. If you enjoyed the video, press the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.